What's shimming, everybody? There's your boy Chimpact bringing guys a Wi-Fi battle against Krazeen. This was a very intense Wi-Fi battle. It was a very close battle too. So he's got a Talonflame, which my team doesn't really have an answer for. A lot of my team is just 2-hit KO'd other than Raikou, but I need to keep Raikou healthy. And I think it's 2-hit KO'd after Rock since we are using level 50 Pokemon. And he's a really good defensive core in Landorus Heatran, which it's going to be a little bit difficult to break. So he's going to lead out with Talonflame, which is great because if I led out with any other Pokemon, I would have had to take a Brave Bird with my Raikou, and I might have just gotten 2-hit KO'd. So here I'm going to switch out to Greninja, expecting the Heatran or the Landorus to come in. And he does bring out the Landorus. I didn't want to go for Volt Switch in case he wanted to bring out Landorus if he did want to go to Heatran. And I didn't want to go for HP Ice just in case he brought out Heatran. So it was the best of both worlds by double switching to Greninja. Now here I'm going to scout out to see if he is Choice Scarfed or not. I thought he was, so I'll go out to Mew, but he goes out to Greninja. The thing is, he wasn't going to go out into anything that my Mew couldn't handle, because if he goes out to Latios, I can just destroy that with Greninja. So he goes for Hydro Pump, and Tentacora is my best answer for that. And right here I'm just going to go for the knockoff, knowing that he's going to want to bring in the Latios. And if I knock off the Life Orb, then my Clefable should be able to take it on really well. But I go for knockoff, and it doesn't knock off it. I don't know, I'm just like, crap, this is a Mega Latios. So here I'm thinking that he might want to go for Earthquake. I can't go out to Greninja risking the Draco Meteor or the Earthquake anyway. So I go out to Clefable here, hoping that I don't get 2-hit KO'd by the Psyshock, but he actually just goes for the Draco Meteor, and I know he's going to want to switch out to Heatran, so I'm going to make a double switch here out into Greninja, because Clefable is obviously walled by Heatran, and I don't have Stealth Rock on this anyway. And I go out to Greninja, and he really doesn't have a switch into Greninja. He has his own Greninja, but I do have my Tentacruel to handle that in itself. So he's just going to go for Toxic here. And I'm going to stay in just one more time, just in case he doesn't have Protect on his Heatran. I just want to get off a little bit of damage on whatever he wants to bring in. But he goes for Protect there, and that's fine, because his Heatran is at a health to where I'm not really worried about it, especially if I do set up Rocks. Setting up Rocks would be huge, considering Talonflame only has potentially 2 more switch-ins, considering if he goes for Brave Bird, he'll just, even if he's at odd amount of HP, he can't bring it in another time unless he's using Roost. So now I'm going to switch out after he does dodge my Hydro Pump, and I know he's going to want to go for the Protect. And even if he did go for an attack, Tentacruel would be able to take it. And once again, I know he's probably going to go out to Latios, but I do want to go for the Toxic Spice just to get the Greninja Poison. In case my Tentacruel does get low, I want to definitely whittle that down. And he's at a good amount of HP, so he's definitely going out to Latios here. So I'm going to make a double switch and go out into my SCEPTILE, who will be able to take on Latios, obviously. And he doesn't really have a switch in to this SCEPTILE, considering if he does go out to Magnezone, he won't be able to outspeed me. Getting off a little bit of Dragon Pulse damage would be pretty good, because I think Dragon Pulse might be able to 3-hit kill Magnezone. So I do go for the Dragon Pulse, and down goes the Latios. So that is actually huge. He does go out to Talonflame here, and I'm kind of forced to sack something, so I'm going to sack my Clefairy, considering it's not really going to be able to do too much in this game anyway. So he's just going to go for the Brave Bird, and that does a good amount of damage, but it's not a 2-hit KO. So I'm thinking that that's definitely not banded. It could be Sharp Beak, it could be another set, I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure it's not banded. So I go for Moonblast, hoping to get the drop on the Magnezone, because then he'll be forced to go for the Flash Cannon, and I'll be able to handle that accordingly. But I don't get the drop, and he's able to Volt Switch out into his Landorus. That's going to give me a switch into my Mew to set up Stealth Rock for his Talonflame. And since his Talonflame already went for Brave Bird, he already took a little bit of damage, so he won't be able to switch in 2 more times. So here I go for a really bad play. I go for Roost. Either the play is go for Taunt to prevent the Heatran from going for anything, or go for Will-O-Wisp on his Landorus. Like, Taunt could also prevent the Stealth Rock from his Landorus as well. But I just go for Roost, and that was just a dumb play, because I don't get the Landorus burned, and I don't potentially taunt it for Stealth Rock. But he goes out to Talonflame here, and it's pretty much either sack Mew or sack Greninja, and I decide it doesn't really matter if I sack Greninja or not, considering he could easily just Life Orb stall me by switching out to a Pokemon, and then Poison would knock me out. So I'm just going to sack Greninja there. I could have easily just sacked Mew, but I figured that Mew could maybe Will-O-Wisp Landers anyway. So now I'm going to go out into my Raikou. I know that he's not banded, so I can't go out into my Sceptile there because he'll easily just switch up moves and go for a Brave Bird. So here I go for Volt Switch, praying that he doesn't kill himself off because I don't want him to go out into Lander since I am Choice Scarfed. And I'm just going to go out into my Sceptile here as he does go out into Magnezone. Now I do have Protect on the Sceptile, which works pretty well with Toxic Spikes, despite the fact that he only has one Pokemon vulnerable to Toxic Spikes, so that's a little unfortunate. So here I'm going to switch out into my Tentacruel, and he makes a good double switch and goes out into his Landers. Now Tentacruel naturally outspeeds Landers unless he is running a little bit of speed EVs, so I definitely thought that he was running a little bit of speed EVs, but I figured that I could just come in later anyway, and Scald's not going to kill his Landers, but an Earthquake will be able to knock out my Tentacruel, unless I do get a burn, but that's if I'm faster and if I get the burn, so I'm not going to risk that. I have an easy sack in my Mew, and I'm just going to go for Dragon Pulse. Kind of a misplay on my part because I kind of need to heal as much damage from the Giga Drain on his Landers later on anyway, so going for a less powerful move like Giga Drain would have been the better play, so I heal a little bit more damage later on. My Sceptile actually does have Focus Blast, but I don't want to go for it just in case it does miss, and here he's just going to go for the Flash Cannon, and he does have an easy Pokemon to sack in his Greninja. He gets a crit there, it doesn't really matter, because any Pokemon that he goes out into that can knock me out regardless of the crit damage, and whatever hit he can go for on my Tentacruel is not going to be able to knock me out anyway. So just going to go for the Scald there, hoping that he wouldn't want to stay in, but I could have made a pretty risky double switch back out into my Sceptile to get a lot of HP back, but I didn't want to risk it. So he's just going to go for the Ice Beam, and I could have went for knockoff there, but I decided to just go for Scald here again, just to knock it out. And it's getting down to the wire. We both only have a few Pokemon left, so he's gonna go out to his Landers here, and I'm thinking that maybe I can outspeed it and knock it out with Scald, but he is able to outspeed me and knock me out with an Earthquake. I could have went out to Sceptile there, but I don't know if I would have been able to live an Earthquake despite me being resisted to that as well. So I go for Giga Drain there, knock out his Landers, get a nice juicy crit there, but definitely didn't matter. And now it's just a matter of if I hit Focus Blast or not as he goes out to Heatran. Him going out to Heatran was definitely the better play because my last Pokemon, I believe, can easily knock out Heatran if I did land the first Focus Blast on his Magnezone. So it's going to go out to Magnezone here, and I pretty much just, I don't want to risk Focus Blast missing, so I'm just going to go for the Dragon Pulse, and it's pretty much a matter of if he can crit my Raikou or not with Flash Cannon. I don't know if a crit will be able to knock it out after the Flare Blitz damage or the Brave Bird damage that he did get off, but I know that Shadow Ball should be a 2-8 KO on his Magnezone, and it's pretty much a matter of like him critting me or if I am able to knock a crit, obviously. So he doesn't knock me out. I don't think a crit would have been able to knock me out because that only did 60. So that is going to be the game. Very, very close battle. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and check out some more of my Wi-Fi battles that will be coming soon. Peace.